Good morning, FYI family, and welcome to our podcast. For your information, it is great to be with you guys. Yet another week. It is Monday, the 26th day. It is officially payday. Do you pay early in August? Do they pay early in August? It is Monday, the 26th day of August. Believe it or not, next week is back to school for our young people. And some of them have already turned out. But for most of the country, our kids go back to school, our children go back to school on Monday. And I know some of you are looking forward to that. You don't want to sit, you're tired with them, you're fed up with them. Back to school for that academic nourishment. So glad to see so many of you on the broadcast this morning. Good to see Tessa, Edward, and all of the others, folks. And we invite you all. We invite you all. Be like some of you all. Share the broadcast. Smash that emoji button for us. Let us know how you're feeling. That's why we asked you to smash that emoji button if you find any value in our program. If you find any value in our broadcast, smash that emoji button, folks, and let's get on with it. Good to see so many of you on the live this morning. Yet another day, as we said, another week, folks, heading into September, heading into September, very strong. And as you all know, I think we are officially in that election year, aren't we? Or November to November, when we officially that election year. Andrew, good to see you there. Good to see you, Andrew, and the other guys who are joining us. Dougie and Don, good to have you all on the live this morning. We're ensuring that we share to all the valid and credible places. And as I said, folks, so glad to have each and every one of you on with us this morning. We're dotting the I's at the back here, and we are crossing our T's. For us, folks, do that for us, please and thank you. Dot the I's and cross the T's. Good to have all of you here with us this morning. A number of things at our end. A number of things. How did you guys spend the weekend? Do let us know that. How did you wonderful, lovely folks spend the last weekend? Do let us know. Shanette is here. Urban Dawn is here. Debbie Collins is here. Ingrid is here as well. And thanks for letting us know that you guys are hearing us loud and clear. Penelope is here. Edward, Maxine, Roxanne. Good morning to each and every one of you. Welcome to our broadcast. Share. Like 200 of you already joined us. 2 minutes into the program. 200 plus of you. Yep, halfway to 300. Patricia Craig, good to see you there. Wanella and Leslyn. Debbie Collins, good to see you there as well. Mark and Sonia Massicop. Tanagni Leach, good to see you there. Good to see all of you. Leslyn Hamilton is here as well. Good to have you, Leslyn. Lucille Kendall, Tracy Clark. I got Hamiltons in my family. Believe it or not. Superstar. Good to have all of you. Ghana Spectator says big up. Good to have all of you on the live this morning. Wanella, Claire Alexis, Chomley, Richmond, joining us from the diaspora. Gil Alicock, good to see you as well. Jilly G, good to have Jilly G with us too on this Monday morning, folks. Fairly decent weather where we are. How are things at your end? How are things in Queens and Brooklyn, in Antigua and Barbuda? How are things there? Barbados, a opposition party there. Got its own little purgatory happening. Charmin Joseph, you could sing, girl. Volme, Elderly, Debbie, Donna, Anita, Leslyn, good to have you. All of you. And Roxanne, good to have you too. Silbert Stewart, good to have you on the live. Shalanda Beresford, Gil Alicock, Naomi Drucker, good morning. Is Margaret here with us? Is Margaret and Rio on with us this morning, folks? All the wonderful folks who are joining us today. We are happy to have you all on the live with us, folks, as we begin the first 15. Andrew says the 592 has become a land of confusion and corruption. Confusion powder. Ngwazi Griffith. Correct. Corruption and confusion. Yep. That's the C in PPPC. Corruption. That's the C in it. Erwin Don Cook says you have everything in your family. You don't have to cook any. Yeah. We might got some cooks in here too. We got 1 or 2 good cooks. Excuse me. 1 or 2 good cooks in our family. 1 and 2. Y'all excuse me. 1 and 2 good cooks in our family. Something bothering me here. 1 and 2 good cooks. Debbie, Edward, Mark, and all. Gloria Chester. Oh, Gloria gave me a piece of her mind over the weekend. Gloria Chester. And as I see Gloria there, I did intend to talk a little bit about the Ghana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union because some of all you taking things for granted. Some of us taking things for granted. Where our credit union is concerned. Notice my possessive pronoun. Yeah, collective possessive pronoun. Our credit union. Our. Claudine LaRose Duqua. Good to have you on the live this morning. Good to have Mommy on the live too. Tammy. Good to have all of you. Marva's on the live this morning. Bushmaster's here too. Yep. Folks, yesterday, number one. Let's get on with it. Number one, yesterday, we had the annual general meeting of the Ghana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union. And you know what? I should put him on the spot. I should put him on the spot this morning. Let me see. I didn't plan to do this, but these are how these things happen sometimes. I did not plan to do this. But let me follow my art. I did not plan to do this. All right? I did not plan to do this, but let's see if we can get it done. Share the live in a quick second, in a jiffy, in a minute. Share the live in a second, in a jiffy, in a minute. And we're going on the road. Angela Jordan, Marva, Trevor, you're live. I want you to know that you are live on air.
Hello, Sharon.
Trevor, you are live. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Sharon. I'm driving. Can we?
Trevor, I know you're driving. Give me a quick second, right? Ask somebody to hold the phone. I was just telling my audience that I didn't like personally what transpired over the weekend at the credit union, and that people shouldn't take the good leadership of Trevor Ben and team for granted and not come out to these annual general meetings. I want you to give a quick word there. Sorry for putting you on the spot.
Yes, Sharon. I agree with you totally. A lot of people take success. Sometimes we take things for granted because of the success. We are enemy of our success sometimes. And because a number of people were able to get their products finalized at the credit union over the last few months very quickly. We dealt with thousands of people over the last 4 months who were given loans and so on. So they're happy. And I suspect that a lot of them decided, look, things are going the way we want it. We don't need to get involved. Let them do what they have to do. I think that's a mistake. What we're saying to people is that you need to come out, you need to be involved, you need to be part of the decision-making process, because whatever decisions are taken, you have to live by it at the end of the day. So we want to encourage as many people as possible to show up whenever they're asked to attend these meetings.
Yeah, and Sunday is a continuation of this AGM.
Yeah, Sunday, according to the law, if we do not get a quorum on the day when the annual general meeting is called, we have to have the meeting on the same day of the following week. Same time, same place. So that's what we're going to be doing. On Sunday at 10 o'clock, Critchlow Labour College and all the other locations across the country will be set up for people who want to be there in person, as well as those who want to be online. The facility will be there to facilitate them participating in the meeting, as well as to vote. What is happening in this week? We will continue to receive those people. We had thousands of people register, but we still encourage people who would like to participate, who missed the registration process. It will be reopened to allow others to register as well and participate.
Excellent.
It's important that people hear for themselves and for them to be part of the decision making going forward.
Excellent, Trevor. Thanks for coming through at such very short notice. I want you to keep your eyes on the road. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you.
Excellent. Good. So, folks, you heard it there. Last weekend, well, Sunday rather, yesterday, Sunday, we gathered. I'm a member. I have to be careful how I say card bearing member. I'm a member of the Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union, and we gathered there yesterday at the Christian Labour College. We didn't have a quorum, and this is not because the leadership is not performing. As a matter of fact, it's the opposite. Because some people feel, as Trevor said, the union has been so successful over the last couple of months. You've been getting the products, you've been getting the loans, you've been getting the little things and so on. That you are now in what you say you've gotten we have gotten complacent. We have gotten complacent, folks. And so I, as a member of the union, you see, I put Trevor in this party, didn't even know I was going to call. As a member of the union, I'm doing my part. I want to encourage as much of you, log in online on Sunday. Get registered is number one. Get registered, log in online, come down here to Christian Labour College. If you go on the union's Facebook page, you will see all the different venues around the country where you can go and be part of this meeting. Right? Because it's online. They have different satellites, different areas in the country. You can go out if you're living in Linden, if you're living in Berbice, go to that satellite location and be part of this meeting, folks. Some wonderful things are already happening at the Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union, and some more things, beautiful things, products are coming on stream that is going to benefit each and every one of you. And folks, I know last you asked this question, we're going to be talking to more of the union leaders throughout this week as we head back into this AGM. If you are part of the public service, you can become a member of the union. That is the number one criteria. You have to be a member of the public service. Folks, I had to join in the public service in the next year or two just to be a member of this union. And that's how I'm so excited about what's happening. But even when you leave the public service, that's a beautiful thing. Even when you leave the public service, you can continue being a member of the credit union. And that's so beautiful. So good to see each and every one of you here this morning with us. Come out, folks, on Sunday. Be part of this AGM. You know, Sunday was so beautiful at the Christian Labour College. I had to remark to those gathered that I so enjoyed the peace and tranquility. The meeting was just going so smoothly. We had a discussion on different things. It went so smoothly, no rowing, no fight down, no jostling, none of that. It was how meetings should operate in professional organizations that are moving forward. And I want to encourage all of us to continue to support Trevor Ben and his team and continue to support the Guyana Public Service Credit Union as it continues to move forward under this very innovative, hard-working, very competent leadership here. Continue to support him. So I'm doing my part here as a union member. So happy to be part of what's happening there at the credit union. So happy to be a member. Full stop. That being said, folks, I was at my sister-in-law's wedding. Angel and Domaine got married over the weekend. I've seen people. Jesus. You know, they asked me to be the MC. So I thought I was getting a break over the weekend. I didn't know they were going to talk. You know, I was going to talk, but they, in spite of me, oh, I've never seen a happier bride. I have never seen a happier bride. Of course, I walked with the big sister a couple of years ago. I walked with the big sister, and the man had to get in his family here. He had to jump in. You see? Well, he's now in officially, right? He's now in officially. I want to echo what Pastor Collins said. Yes, Saturday afternoon. Pastor Collins said marriage is going to be hard work. You got to prepare to put in the work. Yeah, prepare to put in the work. You get out what you put in. It's like a bag. It's like the credit union. Well, it's not like the credit union because at the credit union, you get out more than you put in. Right? You get out more than you put in at the credit union. But in similar fashion, you know, your what you put in could become compound, Tracy. Compound. Oh, it was nice. I love small church weddings. I don't know why. And to see young people starting their lives in this way, you know, they've kept themselves to themselves and they're now hatched. They've hatched and now they're matched, you know, heading off to create their own family, their own experiences, their own rituals, their own customs as a family, heading off to create offsprings. And we wish Angel plenty children, plenty. Their parents had two, my mother and father had two as well, but we wish them at least five or six. So much people migrating due to hard times in this country and so on. A lot of stuff happening. But it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Yes, on Sunday and Saturday, it was beautiful. It was good being in Babis for the weekend. Oh my God, I love the peace and tranquility of Babis. Far away, folks, from the madding crowd. Very far from the madding crowd. A little snippet of what transpired as the bride and groom. They were at the altar on Saturday afternoon there.
Before we move on, the question must be asked: who gave them this man to be with? Mr. Wade is smiling. Amen. From what I
My Jesus, our mother, and I.
Hallelujah. Amen. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Pastor said, or mother and I. What my brother said, my Jesus, or mother and I. Hallelujah. And that is wonderful. That's a wonderful sentiment. Amen. Amen. So the men, not only did you only get in, but they get in Jesus. Hallelujah. Bless the Lord, somebody.
My father-in-law is so extra. My father, my father-in-law is so extra. My Jesus, my mother and I, is three we give a share away. And Sammy, and if you allow it to lie, he said Auntie Pearl, Uncle Neville, Cheryl. It's all of us giving her away. Yep. So we were so happy to see them go off. So happy to see them go off. They ain't going far. One thing about people from Babis, they tend to live in clusters, family. Auntie over the road, the uncle behind, sister next door, the cousin across the other side. They tend to live in clusters like that. It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. Town people, Tracy, we want to see you back after you go off. Right? After you go off. Town people like that. Give us a little chance to miss you. Brian Luan Hall, Yvonne Ramasar. Some people say, give me a little time for miss you. Right? Give me a little time for miss you. No, country people, you're next door. You marry out from here today, you're next door tomorrow. They do it different. Doing differently. So congrats to Angel. Both are young entrepreneurs, young business people. And so we really, really admire them and love that they're going off like this. Forbes wonder why putting people business out there. Only family can do them things. Only family. Yeah. My father-in-law, plus to the 99. I don't know if I take 3 good pictures. I was just talking whole afternoon. I think we got one in with the bride and groom. Family photograph in there with the bride and groom. So I want to say congrats to them again. Good to see them go. Folks, we're off. So while I was in Babis over the weekend, somebody sent me some people are always sending us information. Always sending us information. And then lo and behold, I see somebody trying to go with the little money that I got now. Want to go with the little money that I got now. I just break the what do you call it? I just break that for the $9.9 million. Just see the number hit there. Like them boys following you. Them boys following you. Right? Very intimate. Just hit a number. Mama got everything now. I saw over the weekend that I was being sued along with Melly Mel for purportedly, allegedly, saying that the minister is corrupt. Well, articles that I read, them waves and somebody else, didn't seem too clear what exactly I supposed to sell this whole car for. on on what basis? I gotta sell this whole car now for $9.9 million. So we watching this. It's gonna be interesting though. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. Why I love it because as we said, we're going into election year. We can get a call. A lot of PPP ministers on a stand and so on, and put some question and evidence to them and so on. I love it, love it, love it, being in the election year. But I want to state clearly for all of you who would have expressed your support over the weekend, I have not, I saw them, we've said, Demar Waves article said that I've been served. I have not been served with anything unless a news article is serviced now. I have not been served with anything. But I got a front row seat to this. So I'm looking to see where it goes. Right? I'm looking to see where it goes. And I got a front row seat to this, and what's happening. Yeah, got a front row seat to this. Minister got a huge house over the in Region 3, built over the last few years. Huge house. Like the minister trying to build a second one off of me now. Like the minister's trying to build a second one off of me now. So folks, we're going to watch this to see where it goes. But I want to say that I have not been served with anything. I have not been served with anything. So maybe if them waves could point to the documentation, the day of service, the hour and so on, But that's it there, folks. That is where that's concerned. As I said, I got a front row seat in the ring to this. Right? Did that one come in the ring fully now? He only had to ask. He only had to ask. He won't come in the ring, you want to pay for the ring too. Let's see how it goes, folks. Let's see how it goes. That being said, let's get on to some other issues. In Barbados, folks, the opposition has a turbulent time. They make what's happening here with our opposition seem very tranquil and calm by any measure. Sharon Helliger, thank you for that 1,000 stars. Thank you so much, Sharon. Says you sent 1,000 stars. Folks, if you can contribute to our broadcast in that way, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Stars on Facebook, you can make a contribution while we're live on YouTube. And as Sharon started there, who are we to deny the other folks? I'm going to send you guys, do it from the front end here. We're going to send you guys a very, very secure link. We have not had one complaint about this link here since we started circulating it. It's from a reputable international company that allows us to do this. From a reputable international company, and we have never had any trouble. Not one person have asked or said anything negative about the information. We don't share, we don't keep the information. We don't even know the information. But we have a sense of what is the person, the time, and that kind of stuff that happens. So we want to ask you guys to contribute to our broadcast so we can keep on keeping on, folks. We can keep on keeping on. That being said, folks, the Barbadian opposition, they got their own struggles, folks. Right? They got their own struggles. And look, this is the nature of politics, right? One time things are in your favor, and next time things are looking very topsy-turvy. And so in the last few months, I think since the year began, things have kind of reached to a crescendo in the Democratic Labour Party of Barbados, and the annual general conference it had over the weekend was not any different. You had a member of the government who crossed over to the Democratic Labour Party. He is now the leader of that party. And some of the current members are not too happy with that. And because the now former general secretary and president of the party, they were very concerned about this gentleman and lots of things have been happening there, crossed over the floor from the government into the opposition, became the leader of the opposition, and they weren't having it, and so they were expelled from the party. These two honorable gentlemen, they were expelled from the party quite recently. This is Ronnie Yearwood, who was the president of the party, and Steve Blackett, who was the then general secretary of the party. During this general meeting over the general conference over the weekend, several motions were raised and purportedly passed. One of those motions was to reinstate both Yearwood and Blackett. Both Yearwood, the ex-president, and Blackett, the ex-general secretary, to the party and in their positions. And there is where the turmoil ensued. Police were called in to kind of restore law and order. And the party has said that by today, I think it is, that order should be restored, and the general conference is going to continue. So lots happening there in the Democratic Labour Party there in Barbados, and we continue to look at it. You thought we had trouble. And listen, it's not just the opposition, because the honorable member would have crossed the floor from the Barbados Labour Party because he do not like how things are happening in the government. And that is why he crossed the floor. This is that is why he crossed the floor in the first place, because his own departure from Mayor Motley's government, he had voiced over time several concerns with the direction of the government, the policies of the government. He had voiced several concerns, even in his, I think the culmination of which was part of his budget presentation too. He had voiced several concerns, and I think it became no longer. I think he had resigned, if memory serves me correctly, from the government, and so began his tenure with the opposition and all that we know now. So we're watching that, folks. We are watching that. But these are normal things. Ralph Thorne, the person who crossed over. Thanks very much, Chisel Chipper. Ralph Thorne is that member of the government who crossed. So I was looking for it there in the notes. Thank you so much, Chisel Chipper. It made it so much easier. He was that member who crossed over. Is now the leader of the Barbados, the Democratic Labour Party there. So we'll be watching it. The point I want to make here is that these are normal fits and throws in the ebb and flow of politics. Think it not strange. This is the nature of politics. The party out of government, trying to get into power, trying to dislodge the incumbent, and even within parties, people are always jostling for leadership. People are never contented, as is the nature of politics. I met a lot of folks in New York while I was there. I met a lot of folks at the credit union AGM yesterday who said they don't like what's going on. The lines will change. They don't like what's going on in the PNCR. But this is the nature of politics. You have your moments of peace and tranquility, right? And then you have these moments of contention. And then you have, in our case here, where we have a coalition government, you have those rivalries too. Within the coalition, within the factions in the coalition, you got factions within parties, factions within the coalition, all of those things playing out. You think you don't have factions in the PPP? We saw some of it playing out on social media quite recently between Priya Manikchan and your boy, Dharmlal. So we know in the PPP, you got trouble too. They repress and suppress. There's perhaps more effectively. We know you got contention, for instance, between Vindhya Prasad and Prema Ruptarain. That's why Ruptarain resigned with immediate effect. Turn up at the GRA. We know you got different camps. Right? We know you have that. And Irfan trying to come out, because his camp saying if you stay under the shadow of Barrett for too long, you're gonna have problems electorally. Right? You gotta come out from under that shadow. He wants to come out, right? But then he's been pulled back in. Them boys fighting each other. Jagdio faction fighting the Irfan faction fighting Jagdio faction. Ministers jostling for airtime, jostling for favors. None of them I know if they're going back. So Vikram think he can take a PR campaign off of me? Eh? All right. Off of me? Oh, never let a crisis go to waste. Never let a crisis go to waste. So it's not only in the Democratic Labour Party of Barbados. We have to now find balance against all of these competing forces, even at our end. Even at our end, we got to find balance and move the process forward. Ghanaians want to move the process forward too. Y'all see what's happening in the marketplace out there, good folks? Y'all see what is happening in the marketplace out there? People suffering bigly and badly in this country. Bigly and badly in this country. People are suffering. And you know, I love what Sabbath News did this week in terms, apologies there, with the cost of living. Something bothering my eyes. I'm just using the graphic to cover me so I can fix myself and I don't look like a nambly-pambly, like a konomono. Trying to get my eyes sorted over here. Yeah. It's interesting to see indigenous leaders. That's the unique thing Sabbath News did. Interview indigenous leaders, 2 shows, asking them how the cost of living by their side. You know, this was a stroke of genius. I give it to Sabbath News editor-in-chief and whoever thought of this, right? This is how you work smarter, not harder. Sabbath News is going to travel to every indigenous community and ask them, how y'all doing? The 2 shows were gathered in one place, and Sabbath News used the opportunity to ask them, how things by y'all? For 90 weeks, right? It's more than a year. Right? Now close to 2 years since Sabbath News have been publishing this article every Monday, how the cost of living affecting people every week. So for 90 weeks, it's part 90. Today, they were talking with indigenous leaders, 2 showers, asking them that important question. How things treating them? And, you know, lots of the responses are interesting. Lots of the responses are very, very interesting. I want to just quote a couple for you to tell you where we are. Monty Simon of Karasabai. You got to travel this country. We got to travel this country, folks. You work hard, you know, you got a little vacation and so on. See some of this country. Karasabai is a beautiful place. Right? He said cost of living. This is Monty Simon of Karasabai. Cost of living has been affecting us negatively, especially in the area of construction. Everything gone up, he says. And not only has the price of material gone up, transport them to a place like Karasabai might be more than the materials themselves. In addition to that, or rather, Monty Simon from Karasabai, he says that a couple of months back, a sack of cement was $1,600, is $1,800 now. I'm sorry, it was $1,600 to $1,800. It's now $2,000 per sack. He said about a year ago, a foot of zinc was $200. Now a foot of zinc is $300. And he ain't talking transportation there. David Albert says the cost of living in Karasabai is not too high again. He said because of a little improvement in the road. It's not too high. He says one of the primary reasons though is not too high is because Karasabai is not too far from the Brazilian border. So there is where they get some of their commodities from and don't have to depend on it coming from Georgetown. So Brazil getting some of our revenues here, right? He said because Brazil is close, there is where they're getting some of their produce and so on from, right? We said things are fairly high there. Samuel Miguel of Manoaran Village. This is Moruca, Region 1. He said we got a lot of challenges that we're going through with the cost of living. We got a lot of challenges, he says. The business owners in the village are doing good, yes, but there are a lot of challenges when they are transporting their grocery, right? Or whatever they have to from Charity to Manoaran. That's what he said. It's very costly. Again, transportation issues there, right? And then he says how the cost of commodities have gone up. That's what he says. He said a 10 kg bag of Caribbean rice was $2,000 before. This is not transportation. This is just the product. A couple months ago, now it's $2,500. He said, I really need assistance from the government. That's what he said. I really need assistance from the government. He said $1,000 phone card being sold for $1,500 in the village. GT&T, did you sell? You hearing that? $1,000 phone card. You're going to pay 50% on it. Then you got Henry Hendricks from Mashabo. Henry Hendricks from Mashabo, Region 2. He said the cost of living high a little because we're seeing how the cost of things going up. He said the money we pay for transportation come out from the village to go on the coast in order to go to the supermarket to buy items and take back. It's costly. His words, it's costly. He said it's costly. He said the cost of food items high. The price of food items high. And he says certain supermarkets, the cost might be higher than the rest. Yeah. That's what he says. He said, for example, last month, 4 pounds of sugar was $700. Right? 4 pounds was $700. He said now it's $800. $800. Everyday things going up. This is Henry Hendricks. A 10 kg Caribbean rice a couple months back cost $2,200, $21 to $2,200. Now rice costs $2,600. Wow. Fastest growing economy. You see who back this economy growing? You see who back it growing? He said, I don't know what villagers can do to make the cost of living drop for now. We just cope with it. That's what he said. We just cope with it. And then I'll give you one more. Let's take Joel, Jackson Joel. Not an indigenous leader. Jackson Joel is from Yarakita, Region 9. Another beautiful, peaceful, tranquil community. Yarakita, Region 9. Yakarinta. I know Yarakita is region 1. Sorry. Yakarinta. I'm boxing that in my mind. Yarakita, Region 9. Yakarinta, Region 9. Cost of living affecting the community and villagers, he says. The cost of living affecting the community and villagers. This is what Jackson Joel from Yakarinta says. He said, for example, a couple of months back, a 20-pound flour cost $1,600. Listen to this. A 20-pound of flour was $1,600. He said now the flour costs $3,000. How much increase is that? You all know we ain't good with the maths. He said it used to cost 20 pounds of sugar, 20 pounds of flour. $3,000. A few months back, 20 pounds of sugar was $1,200. He said now it's $1,800. 20 pounds of sugar was $1,200. $100. It's now 18. Even the cost of rice gone up. Jackson Joseph rather, from Yacarinta says, even the price, gasoline gone up. He said if the grocery prices drop, it would be better for us villagers. Jackson Joel from Yacarinta, that's what he says. That's a broad sweep of how the cost of living affecting various indigenous villages across Guyana. And again, that's compliments of Stabrook News. Does this work? This is the work of journalists. You got a broad sweep there. If one villager they said bad and everybody saying it nice, they want to know. All of them saying things high. Things high. This is what got to affect governance. This is what has to affect governance. It's not about whether you got indigenous people in the leadership. It's not whether you got Indian people in the leadership, or Africans in the leadership, Indo-Guyanese, Afro-Guyanese. It's about the policies. Diversity is nice. It's important. And we should have diversity in our political parties. But what is even more important is that we have to return to an issues-based politics. That's what we got to go back to. Or what we have to come to. We have to come to an issues-based politics. You see what's happening there in those parties in the north? You see what's happening there? You better get your party platform. Women's rights on the ballot. Student loans on the ballot. Right? Gun control. We gotta move away from if somebody here kinky and straight. What are the issues? What are the economic issues? What are the economic plans parties got? Since PP gone in 2020, and your life is better off, in your family, in your community, and you're better off, you're able to save a little money, put aside for a rainy day. Is the healthcare better? Our costs better? Those are the things we gotta move our politics forward on. Those are the things. Those are the things. Correct is right. And there's something that Ambassador, High Commissioner Lillian Chatterjee, I think this is at the end of our program, but I want to pull it forward, said she's returning to Ottawa, returned to Canada. She's finished her stint in the Caribbean, returned to Canada at the end of the month. Right? And part of what she said, she has an op-ed in one of the newspapers. This is High Commissioner Lillian Chatterjee, High Commissioner of Canada to Barbados, and she's the former High Commissioner to Guyana. Right? Part of what she said as she says her goodbye, and I pondered on this since I read it earlier today. Right? Let me try to find it. It's about coming out from the past. I think that's what she was saying. Coming out from the past and moving forward. But some folks don't want to do that in order to move this country to an issues-based politics. Right? They don't want to do that. They don't want to do that at all. So I'm trying to locate. I want to capture exactly what she said. You all forgive me. I didn't plan to talk about this till later on in the broadcast. Right? Yeah. But this is the kind of politics that we have to go towards. She says, for instance, it is my fervent hope that Guyana, that as a country of, let me get it right. It's my fervent hope that Guyana can become a beacon to the rest of the world as a country of multiracial and multicultural intolerance by transcending history and forging a future that benefits all of Guyana. That is what I've been ruminating on these hours since I've last read that. Transcending history. You know, it's so sad listening to Irfan Ali, Barjack News sometimes. Most of the times. You see, and APA, the American People's Association, took exception to this. Some of what Ali said, going back to 1992, they don't want to transcend history. I agree. We have to have an accounting, right, of our history for those who are coming after us. But maybe the political parties can't do it. Maybe we gotta leave it to the historians. Maybe we have to leave it to the historians to do that. Till back to 1992. They don't want to transcend history. They do not want to transcend history the way Chatterjee is talking about here and forging a future that benefits all Guyanese. They don't want to do that. But I can circle back to Chatterjee later on. They don't want to transcend that. To be that beacon, to be that light set in a hill, you got to transcend history and forge a future for all Guyanese to benefit. You know, 1992 till now, we're still trying to rationalize who right 1992. We can go back to 1997 too. When the dual citizen Janet Jagan was president, fling away the court order. We can talk about all that too. Remember when Good not swearing in Janet? The votes didn't stop count yet? The votes are still counted? We could talk about the whole day. How we can transcend history. I saw Mark and Marcia, Michael, Arvin Don, Sabrina Blue, and y'all tell me if I'm wrong. Y'all hear that cliche there? Danny said that all day. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong. During the Democratic Convention last week, once I heard, right, might have had other speakers, once I heard, en passant, once I heard in passing, Biden, I think, mentioned the insurrection. And they talk about it as January 6th. Once. And then he gone on to lay out what his administration has done and intends to do in his last 5 months in office. And Kamala, according to Trump, she didn't dwell in August 6th and the riggers and the thieves and the January 6th rather. She spent her time laying out for the American people what she intends to do, the policies that will affect their lives. Americans are passing through that and saying, is there something for me in here? Could I see myself in her policies? And that can determine how they go out and vote. And that is how it should be. Transcending history. You're trying to live without August 2nd. You're trying to live in January 6th. Living in the past all the time. Moving on, folks. We got to move this country forward. You know, people are going to read this thing with Sabbath News here. Let's to these two shows now. They might get some phone calls. Don't come to Sabbath News again. Or if Sabbath News call you, you call me first. And we're looking at the issues. You want to look nice, but you don't want to treat people nice. We want to look nice, But we don't want to treat people nice. NIS income up 16.2%. The last time I went to NIS, I didn't like how it looking. Could I say that? I didn't like how it looking. I saw parts of the ceiling falling in. I think to myself, falling out, missing. This is the NIS that lent millions to build the Burbis Bridge. NIS need a total facelift. All the buildings. I know the people there try with it. There's a meager resources. Right? I know they try. But NIS need to be light, dark and moggy, and need a whole facelift. But all they know to do is not to build people. You go and work under any circumstance. People in NIS need to be treated well. You talk about telemedicine, we showed you the other day. Patients gotta sit down on a block-up chair. You got some offices, right? You could tell the chair been there a while, the sponge showing. Office staff gotta sit on a plastic chair. It's 2024, and we argue with latrine. Our children using latrine. We can't agree on that. Can't agree on that. So NIS income up, but must be up for something. What is it up to? We could spend every program for the next 5 years just talk about NIS alone and the complaints of people. The complaints of our pensioners. Like we got a century by NIS. Credit union members are so happy the way this union is going. The plans that have been laid out, the accomplishments just in the last 2 or 3 months alone. I'd love to see NIS people like that. Everything is perfect. You got your 1 and 2 little hiccups and so on. But you know the thing moving. It's like we ain't resolving no problems at NIS. We're resolving no problem. We got some good folks at NIS. Lots of good folks there. But it's government policies. I see them boasting. Income up. Income up. I saw another headline that says they gonna be they got an old age pension, a raise in the old age pension imminent. But I didn't even know why this headline is. They promised 40%. Y'all let me there yet. So every 1% you give 2%, it gotta be a big headline. They didn't even give it to you, it's eminent, big headline. Have they given the 40% yet or 50% raise? No. Far from it. Far from it. So we're watching that too. We are watching that too. So Kaitro News reporting. Kaitro News reporting. No need for independent meters and oil pumps, and this is attributed to the Minister Vikram Bharat. Because everything, all the systems are secure. We're getting the correct reporting, measurements and quantities and so on. No need for independent meters on oil pump. We better get our checks and balances. We better get our checks and balances so we're getting the right money for our oil. And we can offset some of this high cost of living that we got to deal with. Get some money in on that oil. Get some money in there. Still looking at some issues coming out of that House conference. They're telling us over 300 indigenous leaders take oath as JP and Justice of the Peace and Rural Constable. I think broadly this is a good thing. Broadly, it's a good thing. Broadly, it's a good thing. But when I think also that elections are upon us, and you could go and swear before JP and say my mother was born Guyanese, I now come back from Venezuela. You could get a board paper, you could get documentation. 300 indigenous leaders, right? And they have themselves might have, I'm certain, might have no ulterior motives filing any lists for the PPP. They're just doing the work of community leaders, and as people come to them, they said, oh yes, you mother thing. All right. Bap, 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 bap. Bap, 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 bap. Yeah. 300. I know a lot of people apply for JP, apply for commissioner votes to affidavit, still waiting. And again, because somebody watching in the room, if I spin this and say, oh, let me put out Duncan in the opposition, don't like Ambernian people. That's not what we're saying. And if you all have watched our program here, you have to know in this little blood here, in this veins here. I can't say that. Because that'd be not to like myself, not to like my blood, not to like my family. What we're saying is when you're seeing daylight, don't let me take a lamp stick and look for it nighttime. That's what we're saying. Congrats to all indigenous leaders. This is a necessary thing too. Right? People who want to transact certain business, you got to be standby, JP and all that. And I could see this being said to be part of decentralization of these services from Georgetown. Fairly well and good. But who now going to track all of these people, right, who may not be Guyanese born, and more than that, they got Guyanese parents? Who going to be tracking that? Congrats again. Congrats again. Congrats again. I saw a letter to the editor this morning from former Mayor Ubraj Nurai. And this can be your homework. As we prepare to wrap up, it can be your homework. He says that government policies towards the indigenous people is inherent with contradiction. Inherent with contradictions. I think I know what he's talking about. Inherent government, PPP government, sit down, for instance, and plan out the whole two-show agenda. Sit down with them, Jagdio, Irfan, plan out the whole PPP agenda for the National Two Shows Conference. And then somebody can run with the paper and say, this is the agenda from the NTC. I say, yeah. And then the unsuspecting public says, yes, man, the NTC has a robust agenda here. And then Irfan goes and says, oh, we don't think anybody here. People are free to speak their minds and so on. Once they're giving us praise. Homework. PPP governmental policies towards the indigenous people. Inherent with contradictions. Former Mayor Ubraj Narain. And talking about letters to the editor, MP German Vergeer also has a letter to the editor this morning. I think it's very useful talking about it's time to rethink our position on marijuana. That's what he's saying. It's time we rethink our position on marijuana. A lot of salient points here. I'm talking about how other Caribbean countries, for instance, right, have embraced the science, and not the stigma attached to marijuana use, and are benefiting tremendously. And he's in awe at how much marijuana being burnt up here, not smoking, discarded. when other countries are tapping into this new green goal. He said there's economic benefits, among others, to be derived here. Jobs, agricultural benefit, health benefits, retail industry that could crop up here, retail distribution. Right? But it has to be very closely regulated, and he's right. Other countries have gone on from the stigma we attach to marijuana use. And there's a controlled and regulated industry. Like the Netherlands, for instance, Jamaica, for instance. Interesting letter, very thoughtful letter in today's press. So I want to commend that to you for homework. And you have a lot of reading to do. Commend that for you, homework. You know what I tend to do sometimes? Turn on the AI on the computer. I like the whole letter. Let the AI read it for you. Be working smarter, not necessarily harder. Right? Upgrades in techniques urged. Almost said in the fire sector. In the fire sector, upgrade in techniques amid rapid industrial growth. And look at these guys is trying these things. Fast as you're building the buildings, they're burning it down. We got to upgrade the techniques. Right? I said not only upgrade the techniques, so much of fires now that you got to hire more people. Congrats to the 97 who recently came on stream. Right? Now only upgrade techniques. And then men roll out the hose mustn't be a sprinkler. When the men bust the fire hydrant, must actually get water running out there. Right? Sometimes the fire service causes more damage than the fire. Them men lash the hose in the trench and hose down your place. You can't salvage them curtains, the bed sheet, nothing. Even if the fire just knock a wall. So much other damage is done. You can't wring out, clean water out them bedding and go for another day, another year. You got to discard everything, fling away the pot, fling away the settee, fling away the fridge. You can't get a stench out your fridge. So, the lot we got to do. If bust the hydrants, they must run. The fire tenders must work. Fire in turn the key, the engine must turn over. Lots we got to do. Right? Rancher found with gun, illegal gun and ammo. Illegal gun and ammo. Our people want to hunt. People want to protect themselves. It's not an area we got to control but liberalize. Control but liberalize. Met a lot of folks in Babis, for instance, who go into back dam and do hunting. These are farmers. They want protection and they want a bit of recreation too. But they ain't got a 4 million to buy a gun. Right? Buy a gun. I think go in the gun shop. They got a 4 million. Maud and Tracy, Donna, Michael, Edward. I want to watch that. We're trying to be a hero here. UG Orientation Week starts today. Runs for the entire week. New students, continuing student. Send them kids out. Send them kids out. You're a new student, or you're the parent of a new student going off to UG. Let them enjoy everything. Academic life, student life, extracurricular activities. Enjoy all that is your campus life. Something bothers me a little bit here. People don't want to partake in anything here, and I've seen colleagues like that. You see, when they get in the fire university, oh Jesus, every 10 cup knock today. Every 10 cup knock. And enjoy university life here to its fullest. They're expecting 11,000 students, new students. Yep, and as I said, orientation for new students and new and continuing students start from today for the entire week. Right? Send the kids out. Send your young adults out. And I think this is the last thing we can talk about. Envoy is telling us that they are set for mpox, monkeypox. They said they have the requisite vaccines on hand, and they are doing the surveillance and so on. Vaccines available. Monkeypox, folks. That's what they're telling us. They're set and ready. Of course, we've touched on this so many times. We visited Latem Region 9 months ago, I think it was November of last year, January of this year. Been at this same bridge here, a very important artery in the Rupununi, in Latem Region 9. The Parara Bridge. We have a learning in this government, but never coming to the knowledge of the truth. Delay, kickbacks, and corruption. And when you call them out, right? And you call them out, these sunshine politicians, these thin-skinned beasts, taking on bridge. Months now, this bridge delayed. Months. Long before the onset of the rainy season. Right? There's a wicked, callous, careless government we have. That's why we're going in this direction. As I said, Lillian Chatterjee, High Commissioner to Barbados, former High Commissioner to Guyana, her tour of duty ends at the end of August here, and she's returning to Canada. And I told you some of what she said, especially as it concerns us as a nation. She has been a privilege to work with us. She had good work relations with both President Granger and President Irfan Ali, and she has nothing but goodwill towards Guyanese, and we have her best wishes as she returns to Canada after her tour of duty here in the Caribbean. Yeah, we wish her well. Right? We got a little contention how they handled themselves in the 2020 election. And we see some of it happening even now with Venezuela, like Raul Gonzalez and Vincent Grandins. He ran out to say Venezuela was free and fair. Oh yes. Organization of American States just this morning saying that they are not accepting what the High Court there, the Supreme Court in Venezuela has ruled concerning its election. That it was above board. It was free and fair. Right? They're not accepting that. Oh yes. So in these internal elections, you got lots of actors, lots of interest at play in these elections that can determine if it go here or there. Lots of interest. Lots and lots of interest. I think Raul Gonzalez, one of the only Caribbean leaders who came out and said this election was free and fair. And he's part of the OAS. He has a role in the OAS. The OAS saying it is not in agreement with the Supreme Court in Venezuela rather. Interesting times, folks. Interesting times. You don't want to keep you folks for a minute more than we have to. Good having so many of you on the live this morning, folks. Yvette Madu and Irvin Don, Wendell Hudson, Mark, and Annette Cummins. I want you guys to go have a fantastic day. Share the live for us. Smash that emoji button. Gail and Diane. Wanda, good to see you there. Annette, good to have all of you on the live this morning. That's going to do it for us this end until our next broadcast, good folks. That's going to do it for us. It's a hard finish. I see Naomi says Ralph losing it. Yeah, he did run wrong with Carter. Yeah. Anything to stay out front. That's the nature of politics. Thanks for joining us, folks. We're going to see you guys on the next one. Stay safe and have a fantastic rest of the day. That's on time.